Hello, and welcome back to Soulstar Radio. I'm Jacqueline Closemore, and I'm coming to you live from my little shop in South Yarra in Melbourne, Australia. And yesterday I was having lots of fun with these Americans who had just landed in my fair city, and and they say, so what's this Vegemite we hear of? And I said, well, get ready for B12 and you'll feel like sunshine and happiness, and if you can stand the taste, that is. And so the guy had ordered a ham, cheese, tomato croissant, except, or in Australian it's croissant. And so I said, probably don't want to try the ham, cheese, tomato with the Vegemite, but if you get a bit of that and put it off to the side on its own with some Vegemite, and then once he'd done that, he's like, oh wow, this is really good, and I said, okay, well now try it with a bit of cheese, but just don't put the ham and tomato on it just yet, because acquired taste and all. So I had the guy hooked in about 5 minutes. So if you're in Australia at some point, you've got to try the Vegemite. And then I, of course, warned him about Marmite and Promite, which is a whole other world of vitamin B, raw extract of God knows what that is. I'm not sure if, in fact, it might be... Well, it kind of looks like tar, But one of my friends in Tucson, Arizona, actually tells me that you can get Vegemite in America in certain spots. So we'll leave that debate open for today. If you're aware of Vegemite somewhere in America near you, I would love to hear from you. If you're wanting a reading, I would love to hear from you. It's all good. We're open to discussion today. And certainly we've been having quite an interesting time of it. And with things like the... we've had the lunar eclipse, we've got the solar eclipse coming up, and we've also had that full moon. And I went out and got myself a moonlight, which I ordered a month ago, and it finally arrived on the actual lunar eclipse. So I have an eclipsed lunar night light with... It's just a bit like that, really. So I'm kind of excited by this, because I at first was a little bit disappointed because it had a USB thing on it, and it was like, okay, you've got to plug that thing in. I thought, oh, that wire looks ugly, and then I took the wire out, and sure enough, this thing just lit up on its own. And unfortunately, because I was racing like a maniac this morning, I haven't been able to go and grab it and bring it to you and show you this thing. So I'll have to do that next time. Possibly during the solar eclipse. That could be fun. So anyway, in the meantime, back to what we're doing on the show today. So do feel free to write into the show. You can also phone in to A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV to have your readings on air, but you can also write into me individually, whether you're wanting particular questions covered, whether it's an area of your development you're wanting to know about, or whether you're wanting to have readings on air as well. We can all do that. But in the meantime, we've got a caller coming in. We've got Rhonda in Pasco, Florida. Are you there, Rhonda?
Yes, hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm very good, Rhonda. It's lovely to hear from you, and I hope that you're doing well this fine evening, afternoon, or morning. Well, it's morning where I am.
I am. It's evening.
It's evening where you're absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely welcome to the show. And now what I usually do is I start with a person's date of birth. So that allows me to tune into you. It just stops me from picking up on every single person I pass in the supermarket. Did you have a date of birth you wanted to share with me for yourself or someone else?
No.
No?
My date of birth is October 28th, 1975.
Wow, okay, beautiful. So I really feel like this year you'd find yourself at odds and ends with things. It can feel a bit like 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. You can be dealing at times with a sort of sense of some things needing to be dealt with immediately. At times you're going to feel like you've got the resources to do that, and at other times you're going to feel like, oh, gosh, and feeling a bit like stuck in the moment, and I just don't even know where to begin. And thank you, by the way, for sharing your date of birth. I know that can be a little bit intimidating for some people, but this year it's all happening. It's action stations, and what it's forcing you to do is to see problems, people, situations in a completely different light to what you have before. And so it's like being able to see the problem from the other side or the person from the other side and to really be able to get a whole new level of understanding. So that's why it can be so frustrating this year that things aren't necessarily, going so easily for you, but there's a whole new level of understanding that comes through that. So sometimes what seems like, challenging times and difficulties and increased frustration and aggravation can actually be a great source of new levels of insight. And I really feel that that's the way I would take this time at the moment as being, because, there has to be a silver lining somewhere here. And I do feel that that's where I would find this. But I would actually feel as well that you're starting to have some rather interesting new ideas for solutions to problems, interesting new ideas for how and where to generate income from, like extra income, or how to better manage the finances is what I would say with this. And I do feel as well this year that there's a lot of expansive energy available to you where you'll find yourself being able to express yourself differently to before. So where before you might not have had the words, or you may have found that, oh God, we're going into that point of conflict and, I've been here before. Now it's like you've got that wonderful, hello conflict, I see you in the future. And I'm going to sit back from this and take a different route. And so, so you'll find yourself now kind of able to use that insight ahead of time and to be able to approach it from a different front and get a different result now. Does that make sense to you? I think Rhonda's gone missing with a bang too. Did we hear that squeal? It was quite interesting. But Rhonda's certainly, she's hopefully coming back from the dimension to which she went. But it's certainly transformative time for everyone, and that can involve even things like, telecommunication stuff starting to happen. And I would really feel with Rhonda to go on with that message. I do think that I would see you being able to look at next year particularly, being able to shift a great deal. So whether that means that you're able to shift home or whether it's you're shifting to do with work, but I would feel a change of location or geographic change going on here with where you're going to next. So even if you can't respond to me right now, Rhonda, because you're off in another dimension at the moment, certainly your telephone maybe, you'll be able to find that you can get a lot over this next period with the shift of energy that's going on around you. And certainly I think that's already starting to happen. So that's sort of the message I would have for you. So do feel free to write in, Rhonda, and you can also contact me privately via inbox message to Soulstar Radio. If you go onto Facebook and type in Soulstar Radio, you'll find me there. So hopefully we can get you back on the line. But in the meantime, that's what I would say there. As well as that, what we'd look at there with you, Rhonda, is that this year, with you being its year of the fire rooster and that you are a wood rabbit in the Chinese astrology, what we're dealing with there as well is that real opposites I was talking about before. So you can find that even though some things can be grating and irritating, that there's a great degree of new understanding that you'll get out of it. And I do feel here it's like being able to bring an old story to a close. So to me, it's like bringing something full circle and being able to bring a completion to it. So where an old issue has been left outstanding, and it feels like for about 10 years there, you're able to then, in the course of this year through to maybe the first 6 months of next year, it's like you're bringing a conclusion to that. So hopefully you can get back to me there, Rhonda, and let me know that that made sense to you, and that you, if you had any other questions, you can certainly write in and ask me that. I'd be happy to answer. So hopefully Rhonda's doing okay. I feel like she is. It's just we're having some interesting communications issues there. So next we've got Anne in Lubbock, Texas, US. Are you there, Anne?
Yes, I am.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to the show there. Hopefully you can hear me well. We had some technical difficulties with the last one, so hopefully we're able to keep in touch there. Now, was there a question you wanted to ask me today, or anything you wanted me to focus on for you?
Just whatever comes up. I have a lot going on in my life, so just whatever you can sense would be wonderful.
Yep, I'm really feeling there with you that I would be putting this as being a lot of reorganisation going on, a lot of having to keep calm, cool, collected, and whatever you do, don't bite back.
Right, I am doing that.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track doing that because it's really easy at the moment for other people to escalate and to be a bit nutso and not to be able to hear what you're really saying. So it's really easy for particular other people I'm talking about, I'm not just saying generally, particular other people to escalate and in an unreasonable manner, and it's like their vision of what's happening and the reality of what's happening is very different. So the more you can remain as you are doing, which is calm, cool, collected, just taking this step by step, moment by moment, then this will actually help you with some of those other people. And I feel with you that you're not someone who gets locked into the he said, she said sort of stuff. It's not something that interests you at all, but other people are. And so it's just where you're having to be nice and, refrained from that, and I do feel you're doing that quite well. That's on one area of what's happening for you. Also, I feel like we've got to reorganise money here, or we've been doing that, and that's going to help you a great deal with where everything's kind of going and how to make the most of it. So to me, I would feel as if money's going to be well sorted at the end of the day, but just at the moment it's like you're having to reorganise things around that as well. And I would wonder whether we're doing a decluttering, and whether with that decluttering that's to do with the house, or whether it's simply this whole reorganising of finance, reorganising of how you're spending your energy, under what circumstances, and what you're kind of taking on board. To me, I feel as if you're someone who tries to help people out as much as possible, but sometimes you're having to say, all right, well, that's enough now, and no, really, that's enough now. No, I'm sorry. But you haven't
yes, you're exactly right.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, because no, the first time wasn't enough. Some people don't understand no. I'm not sure whether it is the N or the O, but for you, I feel that you are very nice in the way that you go about it. You tend to be very positive and, and not going into a negative light with that. So I feel like that at the end of the day, people really respect you, but they can have trouble understanding the limits of your time. So it's not that they're not respecting you, it's just that they can have trouble getting that you are actually busy and you know that you've got other things going on as well. Does that answer that part of things for you?
Yes, it does, yeah, because I do. I mean, my whole life has been turned around. I've taken my dad in, so I'm caring for him. And you're exactly right. Money, I have to kind of reorganize that. So, rebudgeting my money is kind of hard right now. So everything you've said, is exactly where I'm at, how I feel, and yes.
I really feel that he can be the best and the worst patient. He can be very, you get moments of real warmth and real appreciation and caring, and then there's moments of cantankerous energy going on there. But I feel as if he really... Yeah, I really feel he appreciates you. I do feel there are some things that he's having trouble understanding, so sometimes it can be difficult to get through to him, but because he trusts you implicitly, even when he's having those moments of not being quite so clear, not understanding why we're doing this or if we really have to, because he trusts you so much, that's why he's able to let go and go, all right, well, that's okay, I'm fine with your decision, where I don't feel he's going to do that with anyone else he knows.
Oh, that's so wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, because I feel as if he can. Sorry?
I just like I'm doing the best that I can with him.
You really, really are. But as I said, can you relate to him? He's not really wanting to listen to other people, but he's actually listening to you.
Yeah, he does. Me and my daughter. My daughter's a big help, and he sure does listen to us. He's wonderful. He's a joy to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that he'll trust people that he can see have that clarity, but he's not just going to trust himself to just anyone. And that's why I feel like, it's really great that he's with you, and that you've got control of things, because I feel like that just takes care of a lot of different hassles here and makes it just that bit easier for him to let go and be okay with this. I do feel that you're turning the corner in the next 8 months, I'm told. So it's just a case of having to put the steps in place one by one by one. Yeah, so that's how I would put that. I also feel as if with your daughter that that you two are very alike in a lot of ways. So if there is ever a disagreement, it's because you're kind of looking in the mirror a bit. So I feel as if she's going to be very strong and independent, and, she's going to be taking her steps in the world. And the message I've got there is to be, to keep being the proud parent that you are, and that, you're not going to have to worry about her. It's like you worry a lot, and that's understandable, but it's because, there's a lot going on here, but you're not going to have to worry about her.
Oh, good.
And I feel like she's a lot older a soul than her age would sort of show. So, I do feel you're doing all the right things together there. And I think this is a very special time together, actually, because it's kind of forming that lifelong, really strong sort of sense of being able to work together on bigger things. And I actually feel as if the two of you are going to later on work together financially as well in some way, where you're helping to build a joint future on a financial level that makes both of you comfortable, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and I'm wondering whether that's going to involve around housing and houses, but to me I just feel as if it's going to be quite, healthy, helpful, and it's like you'll be able to do it without a great degree of argument or without a great degree of differences of opinion. You're able to have discussions that can be challenging for other people, but you're able to kind of break it down and get to the nuts and bolts of it a lot quicker, and that's why in some way there's a team effort here on the finances in the future to do with certain aspects. So it's like working on something together, and as I said, I'm feeling like that's around residential, and that's what's going to give both of you a really secure future. Even though it hasn't exactly been easy, it feels like this is going to be quite a secure future into the future when we look way ahead of time, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing is that I've got Spirit patting you on the back, saying it's okay, we've got you. And also it's patting you on the back to congratulate you, because it's like you've kept that positive line. Even though things have at times knocked you, you've just kept getting up, and you've kept persevering, and you've kept positive, and you haven't gone into that sort of negative state of the why me's or the they sort of thing.
Oh, that's exactly right. I just keep on going, think it's going to get better no matter what.
That's what is actually helping it get better as well, because you're not allowing it to turn you or change you into someone who you are not. And that's the most important thing when people are looking at, how to improve their life, how to improve psychic development as well, is the more truthful we are with ourselves, the more we are positive and looking to that new day and putting that little step more, little step more, little step more, it does eventually culminate and it does eventually break us free of the old patterning and where we've come from and the difficulties you've faced, And to me, I just see you and your daughter as two strong women together, and I do feel as if this is a family environment where, it's as solid as a rock when we go forward into the future here with this. And, so I do feel that that's why, Spirit walks with you a lot with this. So sometimes you can sort of feel really exhausted and really and then next thing, all of a sudden, whoosh, and it's like an energy coming around you, a warm energy coming around you, and it's like, I can do this. And that's that feeling of Spirit coming around you. It can also be kind of some adrenal stuff going on a physical level, but on the spiritual level, it's definitely Spirit coming out, and I feel wrapping their wings around you and helping you just go that little bit more. Yeah, and so you can relate to feeling that sometimes, can't you?
Yes, I do. Because, I mean, yeah, there's this change. I'm back to, I can do this. Exactly right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So that's a thing that's going to help keep guiding you. And because you're very much about being honest, that's the most important thing as well, is the more honest we are with ourselves, the more we can really hear our own instincts and hear the guiding energies around us and allow ourselves to be directed in a good way, and that's what helps lift you up and take you those few steps more that you need before you can yet again take a bit of a rest, and then once you've had a bit of a rest, then you're on to the next steps. It's like the spiritual journey. Some people like to try and go, oh well, there's the elevator, I'm just going to shortcut everything. And they just whoosh, up they go, and they get to the top story, and the door is open only long enough for them to see the lovely platters, and I don't know what kind of smorgasbord's going on in there, but anyway, and then the plunk, back they go again, and whoosh, down to the basement. Whereas what you've done is you've gone, okay, well, there's the elevator, don't really trust that. But that thing there, the steps, I'm going to go and take those. And so it is that sense of going, all right, well, let's look at the top. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, that's where I'm going. But right now I'm just going to focus on this step and this step and this step. And what you've done is you've done that. You've gone, well, here's the vision in the future of where I want to be. That's where I can see myself being. But here's the little steps here right now. Because right now, if I try and just leap forward to there, I'm kind of not ready for it, and I feel a bit freaked out anyway. But if I just focus one step, then you never really get completely tired out and completely burnt out. And it's like every time you get to a landing in the staircase, because this is going round and up and around, every time you get into a landing, you're going, I'm going to breathe now.
Right,
and I'm going to stand here and breathe. And you're looking back and going, well, actually, that's a long way. And then you're looking up and going, oh, that's closer. That top is closer. Okay, well, one step, until we get once again to that next landing. So you'll find with your energy that as you evolve energetically, that you do go through these steps and then plateau, steps and then plateau, steps and then plateau. And even with your financial situation, it's also happened the same way. So it's really fantastic that you're aware of that, and that you're flowing with that, because that's what at the end of the day is going to help you to keep on track and keep you going in the right direction. So I just wanted to give you a word of encouragement today, because I know, and I can't say I know, because that would be to say, I know how you feel. That's really stupid. But I can feel you, and I can feel the integrity in you, and how full on this has been. And I really wanted to let you know that Spirit's watching, and they're aware, and they really appreciate everything you're doing. So just keep going, keep rolling, and certainly don't allow anyone to dim your light, because you have a beautiful light, and I can see it from here, darling.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome.
I did need this encouragement today, so thank you so much.
You really did, and you do have the courage of a lion. I would try and get the picture of a lion, and actually maybe a lioness, and I would put that up on the wall, and just remember that is you. You know, you've got that. You've got this. Just take it one step at a time, sweetheart, and I'm sending you all my love from Australia across the ocean.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much.
All right, darling. So you keep powering on, and I wish you the best, and thank you so much for your call there, Anne.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. So thank you very much to both of our callers. We had Rhonda. Rhonda passed through and has not passed on though, but she's gone off to another land, and hopefully we hear back from her. And thank you also to Anne from Texas. I just love Texas. There's something about Texas. I don't know what it is exactly, but hopefully we'll catch up with you again next time. I do apologise to those we couldn't get through today. We can only do so many calls in a show. You can always write in at soulstar.media or catch us on A1R Radio, A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. Anyway, we'll catch you next week. It's been lovely speaking to you. In the meantime, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.